Yeah, got off the schneid, got our first win. Um, it was all around a good game with the exception of the penalties. I thought that was a little bit disappointing. But for the most part, we played really well on defense, ran the ball well, leveraged the ball well, which is something that we had some problems with in the past. And I think we got a lot of that fixed. And, offensively, we were pretty efficient. I think we were 50% on third down, 100% in the red zone. So I think we did our job that way. We had a couple touchdown passes. Obviously those are fun games to be in, and obviously any wins are good. But we're in Southland Conference play against a really good Houston Christian team, which obviously showed what they could do based on that win last week. So we got our hands full.
I'll say it. Lincoln seemed to be undisciplined. You talked about the penalties. Is that something you're working with you guys not to react to some of the stuff went on? I mean, it was upsetting penalties, and a lot of it was initiated by Lincoln.
It was. We have to be more disciplined. That's as simple as that. I mean, when you're playing a team, they're not going to be the only team on our schedule that's undisciplined. So we got to do a good job being disciplined. We were the ones that were undisciplined because we couldn't put that to bed when things happened. And I talked to all of our guys about that. They'll get some reminders on it today again, just to make sure that we don't have that in the future, because those type of penalties will cost you games. And they'll get guys thrown out. If you have 2 of those personal fouls, you're getting thrown out of the game.
Robert, 15 out of 19, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty satisfied with his performance?
Yeah, I think he did what he was supposed to do. I thought he missed a couple opportunities out there for sure that were there, and he kind of skipped over the read and went to the next guy, because I think it was more of a I would call it a man. He was looking for a man rather than a play, if you know what I mean. Sometimes that happens with quarterbacks. They think about players and not plays. But I thought he played pretty well, efficient. Operated the offense really well. Got us into some good runs, which obviously we were able to. I think we rushed for 300 yards. So
I saw, Caleb. I mean, it's one ball game, over 100 yards rushing and touchdowns. We saw what he can do.
I mean, KG's just been steady all year. I mean, I don't think you can watch a game and pick one out that he didn't play really well in, and he's really positive for our team. He's done a great job of being a leader. Just great to see him show up and play well. He had a big play in the pass game too, a 50-yarder that we had dialed up. We knew that kind of would happen on that play, but it doesn't necessarily mean you make the throw and you make the catch, but we did, so that was positive.
First win for you, obviously, here at Lamar. Did you take a moment to reflect and soak that in a little bit, or what did that moment feel like for you?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, it was like I told our players. I mean, if they're getting off the bus, it's a hard team to beat. I mean, I don't care who you are, how good you are. I mean, you got to be ready each and every week to play the game, and you got to play at a high level. And I think we did. And I felt good going in the locker room and celebrating with those guys. And it's good to see smiles on their faces, because you've been telling them trust the process, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Haven't had much result. Other than, maybe a daily result here or there. But they had some results, and, that was obviously good for our guys to get.
Pitching the shutout had to be happy with that defense. It's always good to see that 0 on the other side.
Even on some of those drives where we had two big penalties where, we had a face mask and a personal foul. On one drive, got them all the way inside the 20-yard line. And, we were able to keep them out of the end zone, which I think is real positive for us.
What has your message been to the team as far as starting south in conference play? Does it feel like a little bit? I know you got a win last week, but does this feel kind of like a fresh start to the season here a little bit?
For sure. Yeah, I think you start out 0-0 in the conference, and first big game, and we got to travel on the road to do it. I don't know what Houston Christian's crowd is going to look like, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot better now that they beat Sela for sure.
When you look at them, they go on the road. As you mentioned, picked up a big conference win on the road. What do you see from them, offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I thought I'd turn the film on and see a fluky win. These guys that maybe threw a couple flea flickers or something. I mean, they beat them. They beat them on offense. They played really well on defense. They got after the quarterback. They ran the ball really, really well. Coach Harris he's got them rolling right now. As far as they had 2 tough losses. You know, obviously Western Kentucky, that's an uphill climb. They were in that game for a lot of the game. And then they played UT Martin, a nationally ranked FCS team, just like Idaho, and he got them back for this game on the road.
Do you know him at all? I mean, he was in Campbell. You got that North Carolina connection?
I know him through Coach Kanata, our O-line coach, and Coach Gibson. They all worked together at some point. Coach Kanata at TLU, and then Coach Gibson worked for him at Howard Payne when he was head coach. So he's done a great job there. I mean, he's going to be, if he can get this thing, keep it on the right path, he'll be one of the hot names, you know, in college coaching. He's a young guy, and you know, he does a really good job recruiting, and pretty dynamic guy. So, you know, he's got that team rolling right now. So we have to do a really good job of making sure our team continues to stay on a roll from where we were last week.
Do you feel like, just with where the 2 programs are, y'all and Houston Christians, do you see some similarities there, especially with, you know, you mentioned the tough schedule. They played the tough schedule that you guys have played. Do you see some similarities with the programs right now?
I do. You know, I do. I mean, I think you got 2 head coaches that have been head coaches before that kind of have both turned programs around, and he did it at Howard Payne. Now, he didn't see a lot of the fruits of it because they won the year after he left, but, you know, you can't argue that he had a lot to do with, you know, what had happened there. And I think the same with me when I was at Central. You know, I turned it around, won a championship, then I left, and the next year they went, you know, 11-1. So you think you got a pretty good idea on how to do things. He certainly does. And, you know, I think the thing that Houston Christian had done is really do a good job of recruiting in the past. Braxton was able to keep those guys there and develop, and then bring in some other transfers, quarterback and the running back from TCU. I mean, those guys are pretty good players, and I think they do a really good job of coaching them and putting them in position to make plays. So I see a lot of parallels. Hopefully, you know, we can have a great game on Saturday, and you know, we can come out of there with a win. That's the most important thing for us.
A little bit different road trip this time from the past ones, right?
South Dakota for sure. Yeah, this will be a little bit easier, just down I-10, and you got to go to the other side of Houston, which, you know, maybe the other side of the country as far as traffic.
On Saturday, we'll go on Saturday?
No, we'll head out Friday night. Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions? Just, if you could, just talk about the shutout coach. That's something that folks here have not seen since 2014. So I know that, you know, Lincoln isn't a Southland Conference school, but anytime you get your defense ready and they flat prevent the other team from scoring, that's a pretty respectable accomplishment, especially for ones that our fans hadn't seen in a long time.
I mean, I don't know what everyone watched, but they scored 20 points on the road against Cal Poly, and you know, they've scored in pretty much every game they played in, and they've had explosive plays, and not like they didn't play with their offensive players. I mean, all those guys were there. You know, the receivers were there, the running back, who we know is really, really good, was there, and we did a really good job of bottling them up and filling gaps and making sure that we had the opportunity to tackle. And you know, we missed a couple, but you know, we were way down in missed tackle. I think we had 21 last week, and this past week we had 10, we were 9. So if you're under double digits in missed tackles, that's pretty good day for the defense. So you know, I got the utmost confidence in our defensive coaching staff. Coach Christ he's a veteran. He's done this for a long time. He has an idea on how to work things, and you know, guys got to step up, and they had to play, you know, and they did. So that was the most important part. Run to the football, leverage the football. Those are important parts of winning football games.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Cal Poly trail that game
20-7 at one time. Yep.
Yeah.
20-7 early in the second quarter. So yeah. So I mean, I think I'm proud of our guys. I like the way they played with intensity, and they played with enthusiasm on that side of the ball. And you know, offensively, obviously, my goal is always to be able to run the football, and that's what we were able to do, and that helps keep our defense off the field, keep them fresh. So we're going to continue to do that and work to do that.
Did Jeff make a call to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo about the 2024 schedule?
That I don't know. That I don't know.
Coach, I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Just when you look around, with Southland play starting this week, when you look around the league, how do you kind of, like, what's what's your first look at it so far? You know, I don't know if you've had a chance to see all the teams play so far, but what do you make of the Southern Conference right now?
I haven't. I know that you know the great thing about the Southern Conference, we're all playing really tough out of conference schedules, which is really good. It could either get you leathered up and ready for the conference schedule, or it can get you injured and banged up and limping into the conference schedule. So you got to be careful with that. But I think this conference is packed with football players. I mean, every school is going to have guys that can break the game wide open. UIW seems to be the class of it right now. You know, the way they're playing and the way they're playing offense, and but on any given day, every team has enough players to win games. So you got to go out and play each week. So we take it week by week. It never changed from the first week when we played Idaho. We're not going to worry about. We'll put this one to bed at 2:30 at our meeting, and when we go out to the practice field, we're focusing right now on Houston Christian.
Any other questions? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.